Alright, let's talk about the new record panel in version 5. Aesthetically, the record panel hasn't changed a whole lot, but the functionality of how we actually interact with it has changed. What's new now is you actually have to route channels to the record panel via FireWire. Now, in any of the pre-built templates that ships with 2D and version 5, you don't have to worry about that because they're automatically routing all the channels to FireWire. And here's how it's done. Notice here on the mixer strips, we have a direct out. We have a first direct out before any of our insert channels, and a second direct out after, so you can do pre and post insert effect, which is kind of cool. Now they're automatically routed to FireWire 1 through FireWire 12. That encompasses our 2 analog channels, 2 digital left to right, which would be either the SPDIF or AS-EBU, and the 8 channels of switchable ADAT. Now in this case, we're routing to FireWire. And what FireWire really means within the Mio console, again, is that you're routing to the computer. In this case, the computer is the record panel. So all these channels that are routed are being routed to the record panel. And here's the dynamic nature of how this works. If I simply unroute them by shift-clicking, which selects all the channels, and then clicking on any one of the direct outs and choosing NC or not connected, my record panel empties out, nothing goes there. So let's go ahead and just add a single channel. Let's say you've gone ahead and configured your own mixer. You didn't use the pre-built templates. You're going to go ahead and add one channel, say this voiceover. So actually with that in mind, I'm going to get rid of my channels. Alright, now I have a single voiceover channel, my DAW returns, and my bus. Now if I just go ahead and simply select the direct out and go to auto, and what auto means is going to select the first available FireWire channel. We have 18 that we can use, and it'll grab the first one, which in this case is FireWire 1. And there it is, there's FireWire 1, and it's also called, you can see FW01, and the actual channel name gets propagated as well. It's analog 1. If you'd given it a custom name, that would also display over here, so it's easy to find out where you are. All I have to do is press record enable, either on the mixer strip itself, or in the record panel. But again, the dynamic nature of this is that you have to route things to FireWire. Now, I've got direct outs before my inserts, and I have afters. Let's say I'm going to do this voiceover now, and I want to EQ my voice a little bit, but I actually want to make 2 copies. I want to route my unprocessed copy to FireWire, and then I want to route the processed copy to a different track. Well, it's really easy. Just take the direct out post inserts. Tell it to go to auto. I'm going to go to FireWire number 2. You'll see how it says analog 1 and then analog 1 post. Shows you exactly where you are in the chain. And that analog 1 post will also reflect in the wave name or SD2 or AFF that you're using. You'll see it in the actual name of the file. It's going to be really easy to find this stuff. Go ahead and I'll grab an insert here. I'll grab an EQ, a 6-band. Just go ahead and add these 2 little points here. I'll enable my EQ and give it a little bit of lift in the gain here so we can see it. Now all I gotta do is press record. And you'll see the top is my unprocessed audio, and the bottom is my processed audio. So now if I go back to the EQ while I'm talking here, and you start doing some really wild changes to the graph, you can see that my peaks on the bottom level here have gone up a lot. And again, just grabbing different values here and adjusting the EQ. So now it's really kind of cool that you can do a recording like this, all in the Mio console, and have a clean, dry sound of my voice on the bottom. And if you want to do some experimentation with some of the new plugins, it's non-destructive. You don't have to worry about it. If it doesn't come out great, you've got the naked tracks. You can come back to the Mio console later and use the record panel to do some mixing. Now, another cool thing is with this ability now we can actually route buses. So if I have like a 16 or 18 channel recording coming out of Logic or a live sound feed, I have direct out my buses now too, which is really kind of neat. Let's go ahead and grab auto, and now my buses, my main left and my right, go to FireWire. So I could just do a quick and dirty mix now. Say I'm doing a live sound recording, and I'm going to do a proper mix later, but I wanted to provide the clients with a nice mix at the end of the show. Just simply record and enable those channels, do the best mix that you can, bounce to an audio file at the very, very end, automatically done for you, and maybe if you're using a third-party program to make an MP3, or just burn it in iTunes, or if you're using SoundBlade, burn it in SoundBlade. You can do a quick and dirty bus assignment of FireWire to the record panel, something you could not do before. Really kind of cool. Now let's get back to the idea here of routing to FireWire, and one of the other cool things you can do is character. Now characters are kind of preamp modeling, some very, very cool stuff. Now right now character is coming before the first insert, so you don't really have a lot of choice here to not record character, but that's not true. We do think of character as part of the actual individual preamp model, but if I go ahead and create another mixer strip, Okay, so I've just gone ahead and used my key command, Command-Shift-N for new mixer strip. I'm going to drag it over, because you can drag channels anywhere you want to. I'm going to go ahead and grab analog 1. I'm going to basically make a mult here. Another audio channel. I'm going to route to the main bus. Okay, and I'm going to option click the fader to reset it to value. So now I have 2 channels coming in. Now let's see what we have. We have analog 1 the first time. Let's go ahead and add a little bit of character to this one. We'll go ahead and grab the soft saturation. So I got a lot more level. You see, actually it's peaking a little bit. Let's go ahead and take my my fader down a little bit. All right, there we go. Now on the second channel here, I have no characters. I want to record this. I now want to record pre-insert, which is just character, for FireWire 1. I want to record post-insert with the EQ onto FireWire 2. And I'm going to go ahead and route this one to direct out to FireWire 3. And I'm going to have no character. So now if I go ahead and record enable all these tracks and record it, let me pull this over here so it's a little easier to see. Great. So here's character, character plus EQ, and here's nothing. Here's the raw voice. So you can try experiment if you want to see what character's like, give it a run for its money. Great, go ahead. Create a second mult channel by creating a new mixer strip, choosing the same input, the same output, and just don't route it to character. Just go ahead and route it directly out to a different FireWire input. And then you're all set. Simply record enable that track, and you're good and golden. Now, one more cool thing, and this is new in version 5, is that the actual listing of the record channels here directly follows the order of the record channels in the mixer. So let's say that I'm going to take the direct out away here. Say I had 2 channels, analog 1 and analog 2. If I swap them from side to side, I've actually moved the mixer configuration, the record panel reflects that. So it's very easy to see where you are. And if you decide to make changes in the mixer panel, if you've got something like, I don't know, I'm going to go ahead and open a template. It's probably easier for me, quicker and dirtier. Open template, choose the ULN2 basic setup. So now I have a lot of channels in here. So if I decide to move this channel to the bottom, now notice that that channel moves along the record panel. It's really kind of cool for grouping tracks. And again, it auto updates as long as you do that. So, big things to remember. You've got to route to FireWire. If you're using a template, it routes automatically for you. If you're not using a template, you're going to build your own mixer. Not a big deal. Just route to FireWire. Use the auto. It'll grab the next available channel. If you're routing a lot of channels at once, don't forget to shift click. If they're all selected, any changes that you make on any one direct out apply to all of them. So I go ahead and simply say not connected. They all go away. If I tell them to go auto, they'll successfully pick the next channels. And last but not least, you can do mult. I can add a second track of analog 1 and put character on it, and the first track cannot have character. And you can do kind of A and B mixes like that. And lastly, you can record your buses, and that's a brand new thing by simply using the direct out, either pre or post insert. And buses can now have character as well, so it's really kind of a cool thing. And I can assign those to FireWire, pre and post, add some effects, do some mixing. Powerful stuff. All right, that's 2D version 5 of the console record panel.